Aaron Rodgers to the Niners could be a possibility because I really don't know what the Niners are doing at quarterback next year.
Jimmy G's gone.
Jimmy
Trey
G is
Lance
most likely gone.
Trey Lance is a bag
still
of dog
not
shit.
given a chance.
Is he going to be fully healthy though?
Trey
I mean, he got
Lance
his
is a bag
ankle
of
He
broken
will be.
backwards.
I believe he will be fully healthy. He will be fully
Yeah,
healthy.
but
They already said by the start of the
Trey-
program.
Aaron Rodgers for the Niners would be their third option.
Yeah.
I
Trey
don't
Lance-
think so.
I
Who's
think
their
more
second
like-
option?
Trey Lance
Trey
is
Lance
starting.
is their second option.
Trey
If they
Lance
put
is-
Trey Lance as an option ahead of Brock Purdy, that's just ridiculous.
Brock
Just
Purdy has
for the-
Tommy John, bro. Brock Purdy's gone next year. Like he's not playing next
Done
year.
for the rest of his career. I'm sorry.
Trey Lance will start next year. He got hurt the first game of the year, second game of the year, whatever. And it doesn't show his true potential as an NFL quarterback.
Well, he
So
hasn't been
regardless-
given a shot even on top of the fact of the
Exactly.
previous season. He hasn't played. He hasn't played in 2 years of football more than a half of a season, like in total. So if you are ready to say Jordan Love in 2 full starts and some garbage time, because that's what it was against the Eagles, it was garbage time. I want to hear it. Garbage time football. Jordan Love, they're ready to say he looks like a starting caliber quarterback, and they haven't even given Trey Lance a fucking shot. Trey Lance has the potential to still be a good to great quarterback in the league. You just need to give him time and keep him healthy.
I
Trey
fully
Lance
agree.
Trey Lance will start. And then I think once Brock Purdy is healthy again, if he is able to play again,
if he gets healthy,
he will be their second option.
Yeah, but they have to have a second option now.
I think here's the thing. I think even if Brock Purdy was healthy, still to this day, I still think he would be second to Trey Lance because of the fact that Trey Lance was a starting quarterback going into the year. Or
that's a tough argument though, because if Purdy would have stayed healthy, won that game on Sunday, and then wins a Super Bowl, there's no way he's not starting next year.
No, there's definitely like, because it's the same exact situation that the 2015 Eagles when they won their 17 when they won their chip, they had Nick Foles win it, but Carson Wentz still came back and started it the next season.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little different though, because Nick Foles was a journeyman to that point, and he was like already a 10-year vet. Like Brock Purdy is another guy that they drafted who's young, like.
Yeah, but came into an offense that was already like flowing and number one in the league. Like, I'm sorry, you could have put anybody, and I want to hear Josh Johnson. Josh Johnson's a journeyman.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Whatever the fuck, he was never supposed to play that game anyway.
He's a bum.
Brock Purdy, you can put in any competent quarterback. I said competent quarterback into that system.
Yep.
They would have succeeded. Like you can't tell me otherwise. You could literally put in half of the backups in this league, and they probably would have been. You could have been Gardner Minshew would have lasted in that offense
all day, D-Mudge, all day.
Gardner Minshew's not even bad.
Brock Purdy was 7.
He lost both games that he started. So
Brock Purdy was 7-0, had 116 passer rating, had 1,400 passing yards, but more than 800 of those passing yards were after the catch. So that's
He was also one of the highest turnover-worthy play quarterbacks in the league. He did not have that many turnovers, but when you have to look at interceptions are based off of two sides. It happens. Turnover-worthy plays will eventually translate into turnovers. So when you are constantly throwing up Stevies and bad passes, I mean, we saw it the whole playoffs of him not having good arm mechanics, throwing the ball behind receivers, throwing it over receivers. There was 2 plays of the Cowboys that I can literally exactly remember should have been picks. The one that he threw up with Brandon Ayuk and Javon Curse. Javon Curse should have came down with it. Brandon Ayuk made a good play to knock it out of his hands. And then on top of that, you have the one that went through Anthony Barr's arms into Trayvon Diggs' arms, and they both dropped it. Like, I get it. I get the argument of Brock Purdy had all these great stats, had all these. I am not a believer in Brock Purdy, not because I don't want him to win. That is one guy I want to succeed. He comes from Arizona. He is Mr. Irrelevant, the greatest Mr. Irrelevant of all time. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not, that he easily is. He just is not a starting quarterback in this league. He will be a great backup if he can recover from the elbow injury. but he was never meant to start. He was put in probably the best situation he could have been possibly put in. It will never happen again.
I totally agree with like everything you guys are saying about Brock Purdy and Trey Lance. And yes, 5 years from now, I totally expect Trey Lance to be the starter and Brock Purdy possibly to still be the backup in San Francisco. But in terms of next year and why I'm saying Rodgers will get traded to the Niners is for the last 4 years. For the last 4 years, the Niners have had a Super Bowl caliber team that is held back by the quarterback position, no matter who it's been, mostly Jimmy G, Brock Purdy. I'd say injuries just in general this year is what held like the quarterback position back for them. But so why wouldn't you go get a 1-year rental basically of Aaron Rodgers, bring him back to his childhood team and be in a position where quarterback is not your weakness anymore. If there's anything like you're really feeling confident in, it's that you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, and let Trey Lance sit another year. I mean, Jordan Love has sat for 3 years, and next year in his 4th season in the NFL might finally be the starter. Like, why not do the same thing with Trey Lance, being a guy who was really raw coming out of the draft and came from a tiny school, even smaller than Utah State, and let him sit behind one of the greatest of all time, just like Jordan Love has done. That's the big difference between Trey Lance and Jordan Love is Trey Lance sat for 1 year behind Jimmy Garoppolo, and everybody wants to act like, you know, like he deserves his fair shot and he's totally ready. But I mean, look at Jordan Love. He sat for 3 years behind one of the greatest of all time. And next year, like, you know, everybody's starting to agree that like he's ready. You know, it's okay to give these quarterbacks, especially these really raw quarterbacks, an extended period of time to sit on the bench. And if you could also have one of the best quarterbacks of all time starting for you in the process, why not?
Not in this case, though, only because of the reason.
Why not, though?
My question is that sounds like a great idea in theory, but when you put it to practice, how do they make that trade? Because most of the capital that they used was to get Lance
and McCaffrey
and McCaffrey, yeah, which is majority of the first they have for like the next 2-3 years. I would assume that if Aaron Rodgers is a trade candidate, that's probably going to also warrant like one of the most blockbuster deals in NFL history.
The thing that I have a problem with is not the fact of Rodgers being in San Francisco. I think that is, and like the definition of like quarterback sitting behind another quarterback to learn. And I get it. Like, it sounds great. It's an amazing idea. That's what a lot of people should do. If you get the chance to draft a quarterback and sit him behind one of the all-time greats, do it. The problem is you're bringing in Aaron Rodgers to start, and Trey Lance has been given the opportunity, and it feels like he's getting it taken away again. And like, I get it. You can tell him like, hey, this is just for 1 year. We're doing this so we can win it. And Trey Lance, what do you think is going through Trey Lance's mind? He's like, what, you think I can't win it? You think I can't fucking do it? And it's like, he's already 2 years in. This will be his 3rd year. Aaron Rodgers starts. He sits behind him. Great, cool. 3rd year done. Trey Lance has already tried to start, already wanted to start, already been put in position to start. I'd be pissed as a quarterback. I wouldn't want to stay. I feel like that would turn into a situation of Trey Lance would want out, because I wouldn't want my opportunity to get taken away. And I wouldn't trust the organization at that point. If they traded for Aaron Rodgers or somebody else, I would not trust my organization for anything.
This is a
like
business,
if Brock
though.
Purdy started, that's a different story. Just because that's a battle you can have.
It's scripted, man.
Bring in Rodgers, that just fucks with the team.
The NFL is not in the business of fairness, though. They're in the business of winning. And if you're John Lynch, Aaron Rodgers is going to win you more games than Trey Lance. I feel like that's almost undebatable.
You're getting Aaron Rodgers to give up the future that you paid everything for. So I just don't see it. There's no way you bring in a guy to win now when you traded away your future for that guy already. So you traded away your future, traded away what you have and your future again for a guy that can maybe play 1 or 2 more years. He probably will. He'll probably retire this year, next year, or the year after. I'm not saying, like, I feel like that's his timeline at this point. You've traded away everything to get this guy that you think can do it for 15 years. And now you're all of a sudden like, no, I don't think he can do it this year. So fuck it. Let's bring in somebody else. Like that. I get it's not about
I get what you're saying.
It never has been, but you're just fucking with players at this point.
I get what you're saying, but like, again, if I'm the GM of the Niners, I'm not as concerned about hurting someone's feelings as I am fucking actually finally winning this goddamn Super Bowl that we've been threads away from winning for the last 4 years. You know, like I totally get what you're saying though. And it probably wouldn't be fair to Trey Lance, but also, I mean, again, to bring up Jordan Love, it's not really fair to Jordan Love that he was traded up for in the first round and has had to sit on the bench for 3 years. And like, yeah, now his time is finally coming, but Trey Lance's time would finally come too. You know, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
I just think that like all of the ties that Aaron has to NorCal and the Niners in general, and the fact that the Niners have been like the one contender that just can't figure out the quarterback position. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if they're the team that puts all their eggs in a basket for Aaron Rodgers, even though they've already traded away their future on a couple of other guys. So have the Broncos, and they just traded away what little bit they had left. Oh.